When your founders established this organization in the early 70s, they had dreams. Dreams that people who look like me and you would come together to focus on the education of children.
One civil right that has been denied us over the years that has not come to fruition is a quality education. We have the right to do a lot of things that in the past we didn't, when we were property, when we were segregated, and now we have the right to go to school, but do we have the right to a quality education? It is not so much access anymore, it's outcome.
Education is absolutely the civil rights of our generation, that if we don't have equality of opportunity, we are never going to close the achievement gap. If we don't do that, we're going to continue to perpetuate cycles of poverty and social failure. So the challenges are huge, but we have a historic opportunity, a chance of a lifetime to invest in those schools, those districts, and those states that are doing two things, that are raising the bar for our children and very aggressively closing the achievement gap. So for all the horrendous challenges, I'm very, very hopeful about where we're going to go, because there's so many great local educators and we want to invest in their great work.
It means that every American has the right to become educated. To be successful in our society, one needs a good education. Every good job requires more and more education. Students need to be able to read and think well, to do mathematics, and so it's become a civil right. We need to make sure all of our children are not left behind.
It's really an egalitarian position, it's a democratic position, it's a civil rights position that essentially the kind of education, the quality of education that a rich advantaged student gets, a poor disadvantaged student should get also. That's leveling the playing field. That's really giving everybody their civil rights.
From my perspective, from a staff development perspective, is talking about how do we share resources, how do we collaborate as educators, but not only simply collaborate for the sake of collaboration, but collaborating with the student in mind, where we gauge our success by the success of our students. And I think that's the change in the paradigm, where before people say, well, it's all about good teaching. Well, yeah, good teaching is important, but it's actually all about learning, because oftentimes we have people who teach a great lesson, but the question is, did all the kids get it?
Everyone here is representing students. And when they can see it actually modeled with students and providing a forum for students, direct instruction, giving them something they can use when they get back into the classroom, giving the teacher something that they can actually use, and they say they got it from NAPCE, providing the service directly to the students. That's why I think the Youth Symposium that NAPCE puts together is one of the best ideas they've ever had, because what they try to do is show the students and expose the students to educators from around the country.
Their opportunities are so rich, because wherever there seems to be a problem, it's really an opportunity. If we're having a problem with teenage obesity, that's our opportunity now to take a part of being the solution. If we have a problem with a high incarceration rate, it's our job to really engage that sector and cause them to be more successful if that's their choice. Heretofore, we've not had that freedom. There have been so many shackles and obstacles, but now those shackles are being lifted, and it's up to us not to be stuck in the past, but to let the future become our moment of greatness.
If the standards are set at the federal level with fairness and equity in mind, and it's set by the people at the table who have an awareness of all student needs, all student group needs in America, then I'm confident that the Common Core standards will take care of the common core skills and knowledges that our students need.
Well, I had a situation with the teacher who stood me up in front of my peers and told me I would never be anything. This is in the midst of surviving a drive-by shooting, standing out on a bus stop waiting to go to school, and dealing with all of those influences. But I had a grandmother to support me, and a few teachers who really believed in me and moved me forward, and so many more kids need that opportunity.
I took 15 kids from Kentucky State, and every year we've been taking anywhere from 15 to 30 kids from Kentucky State and almost 50 kids from the state of Kentucky to the National Alliance of Black black school educators, and it's been supported by the state of Kentucky. And we need to do that for all deans of education across the United States to get this next generation of culturally responsive teachers into classrooms and into principalships and superintendencies for our kids.
One of the things my husband spoke about tonight is something I strongly believe in, and that's people coming together to educate children. It comes from families working with schools, communities working with schools to meet the needs of kids. It's too much to expect parents to do it alone or schools to do it alone or even outside resources and churches to do it alone. Collectively, we can make a difference in the lives of children, and it's seen over and over and over again.
The brain of the nation. I like that because you come here, you learn different stuff, and you take it back to your school just to make it better.
Well, I continue to come back to NAPSA because of the up-to-date strategies and methodologies that they offer, and also I'm in constant pursuit of solutions for black students.
When I come here, I get the content that deals with my population of students, which are primarily African American, which is what we serve primarily in our district. I get those strategies, I think, that have been most effective in working with those students over the years by those persons who've been successful. So therefore, I come to this meeting because I leave this meeting motivated, highly motivated, because they have excellent speakers, and I get the type of content that I can go back and use and improve my district.
Tell us, this being here at this great conference, the National Alliance of Black School Educators, what does this mean to you? How do you feel about being here?
It's a great motivational tool. I mean, you get to see a lot of educators, older, younger, wanting to do the same things that you were wanting to do, and that's educate children. And they've been there before, civil rights movement and everything, and they give me a sense of uplift and giving me some motivation to do what it is that I got to do to help motivate our kids.
We got to change our position and our approaches. And then we got to come up with innovative approaches. That's another thing about President Obama's pillars of education. It's come up with innovation, creativity, better use of technology in order for us to be able to educate students. So this is basically going to be my platform. This is what I'm going to tell NAPSE.
Dr. Thomas is a low-key, unassuming, humble person, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you recognize that he's strong. I think the thing I like about what he laid out was a positive approach, and he was honest.
We've got to work with the families, the parents, to be sure that they are preparing the kids, getting them to study, getting them to cut off the television at night, and prepare and take charge of their own education. And I think this is what Dr. Thomas is all about, and I'm looking forward to another 2-3 years of great leadership.
So, Dr. Thomas, what does a high-quality public education look like?
And in a simplistic form, it's this, that you take every child and raise him to the best of his ability. Wherever his ability is able to take him, then we challenge him to the maximum of his ability. And that when he leaves the public school system, that we have taught that kid everything that he is capable of learning.
NAPSE is the brain of the nation.